Nick is going to be a little late. He's helping with something or another. So
dinner.
It's all
so
good.
You're recording to the cloud, right?
Yes.
Okay, that way you can give me the link tomorrow and I can re-upload it.
Okay.
Let's see, where's my shit? Is it okay if I drink some wine while we're on tonight?
Hell yeah, smoke something. I mean, yeah. Oh my God. Is it 17? Episode 17? Jesus.
I think it's 18.
I need to write these things. 18. I need to write these things down.
No, it's 19. It was 18 last week.
No, 19.
Okay, 19.
No.
All right, I'm going to push the go live button. Here we go.
In 3.
What's the chances of hitting that right on time? Boom! Slim to none.
7:59
Well,
still.
we're early. We're early. Oh no, we're early. What's the chances of hitting that right on time? Boom! Slim to none.
7:59
Oh.
still. After all,
All right, that was me. That was me hitting that right on time. Boom! Slim to none. Hold on.
7:59
Well,
still.
we're early. All right. Craig Couch, yo. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tuesday Night Hangout with ppgshane.com. And we have 2 special guests tonight. But before we get to those folks, we are going to introduce those in the on the panel. We have Sean. Since you're going to take the longest with your first 2 and only 2.coms, introduce yourself. You have to give Sean special instructions. Where's he at? He ain't even there. That's what I get for not having that window up. How about Flying Flamingo Jade? Tell us about your T-shirts, all the information, all that good stuff.
Hi guys, Flying Flamingo Jade. You can reach me at paramotorgirl.com and Flying Flamingo Jade on YouTube with some of my videos that I've been putting out. And I also do Tomahawk tees, and you can check that out through Facebook right now. And I make sublimated.
What is a Tomahawk tee? Uh-oh.
Good.
Broker.
I make sublimated t-shirts, socks, puzzles, and I'm working on 12 vinyl shirts for a business right now, a logging company. Gentleman watches our show at times also, and he's looking into getting into paramotoring also. And anything you are interested in, just check me out message me on Tomahawk Tees, Eric or I.
All right, thank you. Eric, where can we find you?
You can find me at PPG Lear. I do not do any sublimation, but I do fly paramotors. And I don't have any videos because I have to depend on my wife to do it. That's it.
Honesty.
All right, Sean. Sean, I tried to introduce you, but then I realized you weren't there. So
Sorry about that. Yeah, hello everyone. My name is Sean Simons. They call me PPG Grandpa. Hopefully my internet's good enough that you can hear me. You can find me at ppggrandpa.com, and you can find my merch and cool shirts and stuff over at iloveppg.com.
all right, and then we have one of our special guests tonight is Dave Perry. You guys know him as DP. DP, where can we meet you and find you and see you and all that other good stuff?
www.ppgfootlaunch.com. And I don't know what sublimation means. I don't think I'm doing it, but I've got to think it's some sort of a printing process. Yes?
Yeah, you just make copies.
Copies? Making copies.
So like
Gee.
the shirt that's in the background, you don't
Very
feel
sublime.
any of the, it's not vinyl, it's like an ink that's heated
Okay, cool.
into the cloth, polyester.
Cool. So it's not like those patches that
Correct.
make you sweat really bad on the inside because it's against your skin. They're terribly
Correct,
uncomfortable.
yes.
Cool.
Yep.
Awesome.
And tonight I am doing this from my computer using my wonderful webcam. So this way I can work out some other things, send codes and all that stuff to everyone. So tonight we will be having Nick LaBoeuf and Dave Perry. Nick's running a little bit behind, and I don't want to get into Dave's story quite yet until after Nick, because I don't want to stop and then start Nick and then go back to Dave, because Dave deserves the floor too. But Nick can only sit for a certain amount of time, and I want to make sure that he's comfortable. And then when he's not comfortable, he can jump off, and then we can get with Dave. So
Yeah, don't
outside of
start
that,
with me. I'll put them to sleep before the show even really gets on a roll.
I'm not even there yet.
oh, Nick's here. He just doesn't know yet.
And this don't know yet.
Samsung
Huh?
Galaxy.
Can you see me?
No, we can hear you. You got to turn your video on.
I'm trying. I don't know what I
It's all
did.
right. Take your time. We have until well, we got a couple hours.
More.
Melissa, someone's at the door.
I know.
At Bad Apples, it was awesome. My phone would blow up because somebody was at the door or whatever. And Melissa would be like, someone's at my door. I'm like, no, that's my door. And then she's like, okay. Then hers would go off and I'd be like, someone's at my door. She's like, no, that's my door.
This is
So we played that the entire time.
there we go.
There you go. Booyah!
What's up? What's up?
All right.
How's it going, brother?
Better than yesterday.
Better every day,
Hey,
right?
guys. Hey, guys.
Hey.
Hi,
Hi,
Melissa.
Melissa.
Hey,
Nice
Melissa.
to see you guys.
I'm Nurse Melissa. I have a title now.
Nice nurse, right? Not naughty
Yeah.
nurse.
Not Nurse
Well-
Ratched.
I think I saw that video before.
What about online? I'm trying to go on my computer where I can see it on the computer. Where is it going to say going on live on that? Or I
Okay.
went on ppgshane.com.
Okay, and now you're just gonna click on the live video that's playing right now. Hit the refresh page, and it'll if you already had
Okay.
it pulled up, it may not.
There we go. I'm talking on the computer now. All right, I'm gonna make sure it's on mute. All right, we good on that. Okay.
Because if not, we'll get echo.
Yeah, and just
Yeah.
remember our Zoom chat happens, and then you'll see it happen on the YouTube channel. So
Yeah,
if you
there's a
want to
little bit of a
stay
delay.
with the current conversations, keep your Zoom screen up, but you can position it so that you can still see the chat from the YouTube channel.
Right. All
Okay.
right. So Nick is in the house. Nick, thank you very much for coming on tonight. For those, I'm sure everybody in the chat knows Nick, and everybody knows Nick had a little bit of an accident at Bad Apples, and we're going to talk about the accident, but we're going to talk about why it happened and how, as new pilots and experienced pilots, we can learn from this. Nick, tell me, how long have you been flying paramotors?
About 18 years. 2004 was it like December 2004 to be exact. It's a part of my life now. I mean, my life even my work revolves around me power paragliding. That I consider myself a professional paraglider because my job is really a hobby. But I enjoy doing it so much that that's what I'm planning to continue doing too. But yeah, on the accident behalf, and I definitely stalled the wing. Never had this happen before in my life. But I pulled into the brakes a little too much and the brakes didn't retract. It was like I pumped them a couple times and it was just slack in my hand. I was going to make a couple wraps. Then I chose to just grab the risers and try to get it to speed up. And by that time I seen I was going to hit the ground. So I kind of like gave up, killed the motor and put my legs out. That's kind of short but I could answer questions in between if y'all want to ask anything. That's kind of what happened, but all in a rush thing. Maybe I'm
okay.
doing
So,
this.
well, no, it's fine. So what was the weather like when you decided to go fly?
I did the weather on a friend that has a live weather thing with a little whirly bird, and the weather was 17-mile-an-hour wind with 21-mile-an-hour gusts. That's doable for me. I've flown with 20-mile-an-hour wind, 25-mile-an-hour gusts. With the right wing, you kind of this, I got different wings for different conditions. I have a little faster wing than actually what I was flying. But I chose this one because it was a Armenia wing that's usually bulletproof on any conditions. I've flown it probably at the beach at 25, 28 mile an hour without any issues, but that's the beach. And I figure
Right.
my guide to flying in conditions like this is really if the gusts are not greater than 6 mile an hour above the sustainable wind, and it's doable, for me. And I did normally when I fly any wing, I release the trimmers all the way out, but I'd planned on doing some low flying just to basically almost stall the wing and just come in and do some touch and goes, at as slow as I can get it to go. And I never did let the trimmers out like I normally do. That was a mistake by me, but I knew that's what I was going to do. And one of my friends had walked out on the field, Matt Minyard, he brought me a French bread. I talked to him the night before about 10 o'clock at night. He says, "Do you want me to bring anything from Louisiana?" Because I'm originally from Louisiana. I said, "Yeah, bring me a fried shrimp po' boy. It'll be all mushy by the time I get there." And I said, "Well, just bring me a French bread," because the French bread from Louisiana is like crispy on the outside, like you would even think it was stale, but the inside is still soft. Just as reminiscent, because I'm from Louisiana, you can't get that in Georgia. I've been in Georgia 25 years.
All right, we have our first few questions in the chat. One from Bill A. Says, Nick, if that can happen to an experienced pilot, tell us what not to do.
I just basically got into the brakes too much. Like I said, if I'd had the trimmers out, I think it would have not even done any problems at all. I had the trimmers still in from about I wasn't fully in, but I was about 3/4 of an inch in, and I got 6 inches of travel on these particular risers. I just planned on flying slow. And I just never did let I normally do, just because it was just one of them things. I just normally, as soon as I'm off the ground, I let both trimmers out, and I'm full trim every other time.
And so Sean Simon wants to know, what rating is your wing? Was it a BC?
It's a full Revo 3. It's a rating of B. It's a B wing. It's still a B wing. It's not an A wing at all. But they're putting beginners. Some beginners, they were trying to. I got that as a secondary. I traded a GTR that is more of a BC wing, but just as a different wing, and it was a little smaller than the wing that I traded it for. I had like a 25-meter GTR, and I traded it for a 23 Revo 3. And it was just one of my grab wings. I mean, it should handle the 43-mile-an-hour wing. Should be able to handle the speed. I mean, I could penetrate with 25, 30-mile-an-hour winds. I still could penetrate with it with full trimmers out.
Right. All right, so the next question we have from JR Paramotors. I know the answer to this, but do you plan on flying trike for a bit? I know we haven't talked about that yet, but
I'm definitely
tell
going
us
to. It's not that. It's just I made some promises that I have other goals in life right now to walk, and I want to take care of. I got a new grandbaby coming in a few weeks, and I promised my kids and my daughter that that won't be my first goal. You know, I got to walk before I could run, and definitely gonna do that. I gave promises that I wouldn't try to run off and run into the air like I've been doing for a while. My son flies. He doesn't fly, but I did promise him that I wouldn't be the main goal.
Right. I know at Bad Apples you were planning on buying trike before your accident, so I know the trike flying is in your in the future for you.
I planned on purchasing a tandem trike at the fly-in. It was there at the fly-in for me to start doing tandems. And I planned on flying my baby and flying my kids, eventually.
Right.
This was kind of like a freak accident. You never plan, you never know what can happen, and you don't know no matter how strong you are or how good you are, you never know what can happen. I know that. It
Right.
definitely brings you down pretty quick.
Yeah. Kobe Cox put in the chat, he's been praying for you and your family, and I was the resurgence dude. I live in Macon.
I know him. I know him. I met him there. Is he in?
He's that little fella.
They doing so people are commenting or asking questions in written somewhere.
Yeah, it's on the YouTube. Yeah, there's a live chat.
Oh, I see it
Underneath
now.
so they ask the questions in the chat, and then they get sent over to me, and then I ask you, if that way you don't have to look at the chat. And
Okay, I see it now. I see. I'm not hip to all this technology stuff. This is pretty cool. I just looking to see who's on there is what I'm trying to just see. But yeah.
So
You click those little 3 buttons in the right-hand corner at the top of the chat box, Nick, it'll show you. You can choose participants, and that'll show you everybody that's in the chat right now.
I'm not gonna. It's on my phone on the chat, so I'm not gonna fool with it. Like I said, I don't want to mess something up right now. And that's Dave Perry.
all right, so
That's talking.
yes, that's
Yep.
Yep, that's DP. He's our next guest. He lost his leg just below the knee, correct, Dave?
Yes, sir.
And he just went to school and became a very new paramotor pilot. And he's going to be our next guest. We're going to talk to him about his experience and everything with going to class, his first flight, solo, and all that good stuff. So I'm looking forward to that because I've got so many questions for Dave. Oh, so many.
Nick, I definitely feel you when you say, kind of first and foremost, your first order of business is to walk.
Right.
It's amazing how important that is, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Don't need to
So,
jog, don't need to run, just need to walk.
Right. I had other goals that are already passed beyond. It may not be something to talk about on here, but I had other goals to get to, and I've just overcome them. But yes, to walk is the first thing, and then that's the best thing. But I mean, this was definitely a life changing. I mean, some people could say, oh, I'm out and I'm done with this. But, you know, like I said, I can't say that priority is flying, but I can't just say it because this is like a family to me. I mean, just to go to fly-ins, even if I never fly again in my life, I'm going to go to every fly-in I possibly can go to. Shane and we have a bunch of guys that we all hang out, and that's the most reason I go to the fly-ins. I mean, flying, you know, it's not here, watch what I can do, but it's really, you just say, you know, you go out and just hang out with people. That I say this is, it might sound kind of weird. This is not even a hobby or a sport, and I hope you don't think of that. You know, it's not a hobby. It's not a sport. It's really, it's my own little way of saying this, but it's really a mental affliction that we all have. No matter if we were in California, Arizona, or if we were in France or in Germany, you could hang out. Or if we were Democrats or Republicans, but we fly, you would talk the same talk. No matter, I went all out of the Continental Divide and hung out with a bunch of guys in California and Arizona. Like, it was like we knew them for our whole lives. It's something so cool that I've never had anything like this in my life. I've done martial arts for 20 years. I've rode motorcycles for 20 years. I've done everything out there. I've never had brotherhood like we do with this. And I mean,
I can tell you, we've met each other at a fly-in. I think the very first time I met Melissa and you, actually, Nick, it was at Dave Purden's, and Melissa came up with Pam's pretty much get well soon banner thing for her cancer that she had. I explained to Melissa about my son's cancer, and then I think it was 2 days or a day before the flying was over, I cracked my exhaust, and you guys were sitting there, and I came over and I was talking to you. That was the very first time that I actually had a conversation with you. And then after that, you haven't been able to get rid of me, huh? Every fly-in, we're together, and we just, Nick is just a hell of a guy. I mean, if you have a problem, for example, I showed up at Bad Apples, and within my first flight or two, my brake line sheathing came undone because of something on my gear. And Nick jumped right in, gave me some line, put me back in the air in no time. And why? Because that's what he does, and that's the kind of person that he is. And
yep, I love that. I do. I carry a bunch of stuff. It's not even for me. It's mostly time for other people, just where I know I'm going to have needs anything. I've been, like I said, this is like a brotherhood, a family that I can't do without. And I'm going to let y'all do the thing. I'm just going to sit back and watch. If y'all want to, unless y'all have questions or somebody has a question of.
oh, there's a few questions.
Okay.
Question, a reserve wouldn't have helped, too low, question mark? Yeah, you were way too low. That, I don't even think your reserve would have ever even got to the end of the line before you were at the end of the line.
I have a reserve my wife purchased for me in probably 2005. It's never been on my motor, because what I was told that a reserve's only good for is to climb out of a tree if you ever go down in a tree. That's what I was, that's, so I've never even put it on a motor. It's brand new. It's never been out of the pack. It's probably out, it's definitely out of date now. I actually put it in the camper to see if somebody wanted it or whatever. I've never even thought about putting it on my motor. Anything below 500 feet, I heard that you're still going to bounce anyway. Not that it would, maybe if you need to throw it, you need to throw it. But I've never had to. I've done SIV clinics and and wore 2 reserves on that. But never had the opportunity. I never had to even just in case something does go down.
What What fly-ins are you planning on this year? Understandably, you're not flying, but I know you still want to go to fly-ins. So what fly-ins are you?
Dave
got
Purdon's will be,
on the-
but definitely on the Dave Purdon. If I'm walking, even with a walker, I'll be at Dave Purdon's. The Moonshiners is only, say 2. If that weekend, and I might be able to talk myself into coming, or maybe even a day ride just to come there and then leave, or even stay at a motel instead of bringing camping and all the gear. But I might wind up showing up there, but I'm definitely going to be at Dave Purdon's.
Okay.
And
If you bring your motor home, do I need to bring like a handicap ramp so you can wheel yourself into the trailer or the camper or what?
No, I'll be in that walker for at least the walker, if not walking. I might be running by then, but
Oops, that's me. I'm sorry. I am so sorry.
getting some reverb. That's not me.
I just tripped.
But yeah, Dave, but it's a possibility that the Moonshiners, if it just winds up that I'm a little too bored with the grandbaby,
Right.
I might be able to steal my grandbaby and make a day trip and be at Moonshiners, matter of fact. But I can't promise that right now. Still a little early.
Have you started physical
Right.
therapy yet, Nick?
Yes, I personally been doing physical therapy since 3 days after surgery.
Wow.
And I'm doing it myself here. I mean, I'm doing all my exercises. I'm actually kind of sore from doing my exercises, my leg lifts and stuff. But they still limited me for everything in the chair or in the bed. I'm putting on, I lost about 15 pounds. I did get on a scale at the doctor's office. I lost 15 pounds. I'm losing my butt. I have no muscles in my butt right now, but it's been a month today. Actually, the 13th, it'll be a month. And the thing behind me, my screen is really a screenshot of the day that I had the accident. I didn't do that on purpose, but it was actually in my phone, so I just put it in there. Not that I want to brag about it, but that was the date that I'm going to remember. At least it wasn't Friday the 13th. But I'm not superstitious,
Right.
but it just, like I said, things happen. I've told my kids a long time ago too. I don't want to keep keeping the floor. I want to turn it over as soon as you can. But if I say it like this, or anybody that does die doing this, at least you got to do these things. I'm not saying you die doing it, but if you die, at least we had the opportunity to do the things we wanted to do. That have the opportunity to do the things we do. And that's kind of been my philosophy of life for the last 15 years. Really, the first 8 years, I didn't know. I thought I could fly. In the last 8 to 10 years, I know that I can fly. Overtraining, I went and got some advanced training about 10 years ago, and it gave me just a step above where I was before that.
Nick, can we show the video or no? I just literally, I'm getting questions that don't make sense. I mean, would make sense. Yeah. I wouldn't have to ask the questions if they seen the video.
Right. And I'll narrate as you go.
Okay. Jade, any chance you could pull that up here in a second? I know it's a spur of the moment there. I literally just thought about asking about.
Okay, let me see if I can figure out how to do this.
Okay.
I can't do it on my Mac, I don't think.
All right, I'm going to keep asking questions for Nick because I got a few, and we'll go from there. So, Nick, at these fly-ins, when you're parked next to Never Trust a Skinny Chef Shane, how's the cooking over there?
I think I put on a couple pounds every fly-in. I leave there like, damn, I got to get a bigger wing or something like that. Or maybe it makes me a little faster on my wings that I have.
Yeah, right.
I have 5 wings. Or actually, I was at the fly-in. One of the guys that I let demo a wing, one of my other new wings, he wound up taking it when he left the fly-in. So but now I only, instead of 6 wings, I got 5 wings still.
What paramotor were you flying and what condition was it in after your fall?
It was an air conception, but we call it an air confraction because I put a Moster 185 with a 3-bladed prop on it. I sell and make these plates that you convert. You could actually bolt a new Moster motor onto an air conception in about 20 minutes, have a Moster on it, and do away with a little 200 they call a 200. And it's such a better, I mean, so much more motor than the nitro. I've been flying air conceptions. If you just, I don't mean to steer you off. I've had the 130s for the last 10 years. And then I recently purchased a nitro, and I didn't notice that much more power than a 130 with the nitro. And so that's another story. I don't mean to just keep buying in. You want me to, I'll stop there, but I'm friends with LeBron.
No.
He's, yeah, if you don't mind.
Hey, Nick.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah, when Jade and I were there, Jade was filming, and she's been very protective of the video, just so you're aware. And we know we had some people kind of upset at us that we didn't give them the video that we didn't know at the time were your friends. So, and Jade has reached out and apologized, and actually your friends came and apologized to them. But this is the second time we've seen this happen and video this. I think either we need to stop videoing, because every time we put a camera up, people get a lot of courage, or we need to go to more beginner people fly-ins where they're not doing that stuff. So, but we do have your video, and she's going to try to share it here.
As long as you're not trying to share it, Eric, because you'll shut the whole internet down.
I will.
There's nothing on it that would be, I mean, it's not I'm not saying it's not a good video, but it's not showing much. I know it wasn't a collapse. I know it wasn't a riser twist. And that's why I'm saying, go ahead and show it where I could prove that. But it was just, I know I stalled the wing because the brakes, and then it kind of locked out where I couldn't control anything to go. When I finally got it to speed up a little bit is when it locked out and just rolled in, and I jumped out of the harness. I tried to land it about 10, 12 feet off the ground. I tried to jump out of the wing and land on my feet.
I do have a video. I don't have Jade's video.
Someone, I forwarded it to a friend of mine's, and he put it on his slow motion camera. He says I bounced about 3 or 4 after the initial landing. I bounced, bam, bam, bam on the ground. I couldn't see it because I didn't look at it in slow motion.
Right, Nick, this is Will, and I just want to say, man, you look great. It's really, really good to see it. Really.
I'm glad. I took a shower today. I don't take a shower every day like I normally do, but the last few days, if you'd have seen me even today, my hair was flat on the back. It looked like an Indian because it was all flat up here, poking up in the back. But that was good.
I got a question for you. How's your shin? Remember
what?
Your shin. Remember you ran into my paramotor rack?
Oh, yeah. You know what? Yeah.
You still got a mark there?
But I thought that happened in the accident. No, I remember that. Yeah, that night.
Yeah. That happened in the accident. That's right.
Yeah, I think that hurt worse than the pelvis. But that was
all right. So
it was pitch dark.
Yeah, I should have taken that off earlier.
Well, I'm glad
It's
that
a
you're
great
feeling
movie.
better, Nick. I'm definitely glad that you're feeling better. Definitely was worried about you.
Yeah. I'm sorry I didn't get to everybody right off the back too, but I was glad that people were calling when they would, where I could just say, hey, I'm better today than I was yesterday, but I'm not as good as tomorrow. I'm just trying to stick to a positive attitude. I could see how some people could really get depressed pretty easy. I tried to keep it positive the whole time because I have to be strong for my kids and my wife and stuff like that. So I was that attitude.
Well, what's been really nice is following Melissa on Facebook, and kind of, she keeps everybody updated.
Yeah, she's not a real blogger, but I tell you, you know, and I really appreciate the thing about didn't expect that either, but we haven't got any money off of it yet, but I did. There's a lot of people came up forward. I do appreciate that. I want to say I really appreciate that. That's going to make it where I'm really not going to struggle too much to pay the bills for the next couple months. And I think after the recovery, I should be hopefully back in a month or two or something, hopefully.
Yeah, and you're talking about the GoFundMe account, and Jade has been putting that into the chat. So if you guys are looking for the GoFundMe link, Jade has that in the chat in a few places, so you guys can go there.
Eric, hold on.
I'm sorry.
Let Jade know I changed the settings. We're good now. Eric, let her know that I changed the settings. She can share that video. Sorry.
All right, gotcha.
Crap.
Yeah, and
Go ahead,
You're looking good.
Nick.
Thank you.
All prayers lifted up for you.
Yeah, you
Oh my
certainly have a lot of
goodness.
people in your corner, Nick.
Her
Great.
family. Her family.
Yep, it's family out there that,
Oh,
like I said,
look at those two.
real family.
All right, here we go. All right, Nick, can you see the screen?
He's at 23 and he wants yours to be 20 and he was like oh shit!
Yep. Yep. I knew it right when I turned, and that damn brakes would not retract. I've never had that happen in 18 years I mean, I fly in different conditions all the time. I'm looking at it on the computer now.
So was that a mechanical failure?
Yeah, I did.
No, I wouldn't say it was a mechanical failure.
The mechanics of the brakes is what I was referring to.
Right. I'd had the wing, like I said, that my trimmers was set in a slow setting, which slows the wing down as much as that wing is possible to slow down. And then when I got into the brakes, there's a happy medium where, because normally that wing has a lot of pressure. It's really collapsed that wing. Even I've actually tried to do a frontal collapse on that wing in SIV clinics and stuff. I could not even collapse that wing, but I've never really tried to do a stall. But actually I stalled it. When I got into the brakes, I just went just that little bit too much, and then it just didn't go back up. The strings were just loose. Normally, I've in other cases just make wraps on brakes if you had slack, but it was so much slack that I almost did it. And I said, no, I grabbed the A's or grabbed the front of the risers and tried to pull the wing. And that's when it turned. It was too late, no return. If you see that in that video, that it just made that turn. I call that lockout, when you really have no control. It just locked out and did a little turn. And that's when I actually I remember killing the motor. I actually killed my engine, and I hollered, fuck, that I knew I was, because there was people on the ground right below me. And that the guy with my French bread, he was standing there with my French bread and almost hit him. I was like 6 foot from him when I bounced.
Dave Perry wants to know if we can do frame by frame on that. I don't know.
I can try to go a little slow and going through it.
I know, Nick, you said when you first started talking about it that you put your legs out. Did you mean you put them down, or you stuck them out straight like you landed on your butt?
I got them out of the harness where I put in my butt. I had already got, I got out of it like I was going to land it. Right when that wing turned on me.
Now, right there, you're going downwind and you're turning back. And when you face back towards the camera, you're going into the wind, correct?
Right. That's why I couldn't believe that. But right there, when I turn a little bit further, go to the next thing. When I turn is when the brakes did not, you can look at the back of the wing. I pulled too much brakes. And right there is when the brakes went slack. And then as it's coming down forward, you could probably maybe see my hands come forward and I grabbed the risers. Grab the risers. Yeah, I can't see it too much. Yeah, I could maybe see it on the computer. I'm in on the computer now. Yeah, right there.
Hey, zoom.
It's in the brakes too
Zoom
much
back
when
in.
I made the turn.
Hey, your hand is all the way down.
Your left.
Yeah.
Is,
Your hand is all the way down.
Yeah.
And see,
And
right
a
there,
little-
you're back into the wing. So that should have just inflated the wing back up again.
Right.
Mhm.
And that's when I turned into the wind, I didn't have nothing there. And like I said, you see the guy standing by himself, he's holding my, yes, yeah. I'm looking at it on the computer.
There was something right there in that area. Everybody that tried to launch there, I dropped, there's like some serious downdraft right there.
That lake.
The whole, that right there in that area was really wonky the entire time over at Bad Apples.
Well, Sean, you were lucky
So
to
what's
have
going-
the height that you had
Yeah, you
at
see,
that one time.
you see me wave my left hand, I waved, I pumped it with one side and it just come back. Yeah, you can see it right there. I pumped it once, I pumped them. I had a little collapse on one on the right.
Yeah. And right there, there's nothing there now.
Right.
That right there is just you. So probably go just another couple frames, Jade.
Yeah.
And you're still in your seat right now, but then right here, you're going to be coming out of your seat. Man.
Yeah. Yeah.
You think your buddy would have thrown that loaf of bread under you, you know?
Dude,
Right.
I was waiting for you to say that,
That's
Shane.
what I just knew it wasn't going nowhere. It was. God.
Do they want to go
yeah,
any
you're com-
further?
No, keep going. Yeah, keep. I want to watch me bounce. Yeah,
Well,
I
you
see the
landed
wind.
on your neck.
Oh, wow.
You landed on your neck too. When
On
you
my neck?
bounced. Yeah, watch.
All right.
Right. One more. You're on your head.
Yep.
Wow.
That had to have
Now
hurt
you're
like
dragging-
hell.
You know, I wasn't even in pain. There's my leg out. There's my left leg. Shit.
Did you have any damage to your ankles or your legs, or was it just your pelvis?
Just my pelvis. No back
Wow.
injury. No ankle. No. My nose. I did have a bloody nose when I was. Damn! Look at that shit.
That's because you're still on your head.
Yeah.
What's flying?
You
That's
lay-
a prop flying off back there.
Yeah.
You were on your head 90% of movement after you touched the ground.
Yeah, you
Just so
slid
you
on
know.
it.
Yeah, watch this. Just keep going. And you are now
Upside down.
on your head. You're on your head.
You go a good
still
10
going.
feet on your head. Shit, more than 10 feet.
So
Well, it looks
Would
like
you say a helmet-
looks like the
10
frame was
feet.
protecting his neck, though. See, he's kind of like the frame was protecting it, the hoop part.
Yep.
And believe it or not, the frame was intact. I only broke two of the they call the carbon fiber things, and my ring is still good. I did tear the net. I only got to get one piece of titanium welded, but yeah, I think that's what might have.
Wow.
About how far was that drop, you think? Where do you think he just,
Like I said, when I jumped
like,
out of
right
it, I was
about
probably,
there? So what, is that 50 feet?
Like
no,
30 or 40,
when I got out of
30?
the seat, I was probably 15 feet off the ground.
No, I mean, like from right about there where you just sort of dropped.
Oh,
40?
It's not so much that he dropped; it's he had that forward momentum too that
Yeah,
it just drove the ground.
because it looks like your wing is surging right there.
right.
That's a real shallow angle.
I was hoping it would surge and go forward, but I was just coming down.
Oh my goodness.
Lucky to have you with us, Nick.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see it,
So, Nick-
see it really good on my computer. I got a 32-inch screen. I could see it really good. But yeah, it definitely puts it in a different aspect. But I didn't have any, my blood pressure was even 120/80. I started meditating to try to keep calm and have an internal bleeding of anything. Because I was on site of an accident in Arizona when a guy died. And I kept him, did an analysis of him. But
Right.
Thank God for shock, right?
yeah. But
Yeah, I said something earlier about that must have hurt, but then I thought about the fact that I sat up from my motorcycle accident and my leg was exploded and I didn't feel a thing. So thank goodness for shock.
yeah, but I didn't. I was talking. I even took I didn't let him cut any clothes off. I took my cell phone off that was on a harness. I took my sweatshirt off, shirt off, pants off. I didn't let him cut my pants off. I unbuttoned it and pulled my pants off before I left the field. And the motor. I didn't let him cut my harness of my motor. And I was talking to him the whole time. When they turned me over, I did a couple curse words, and I said, "No, you got to turn me back on my." I'd laid down where I was on my side, like on my right side, and when they tried to put me on the board, I said, "You can't. I got to roll me back." They put a line in line and put me gave me some fentanyl and then rolled me back over, and after that, I was on my way.
Oh, Nick, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Do you have a friend that is a helicopter pilot or a retired pilot that was there?
Yes. Joe Rinke.
Did you call him on the flight and say you finally got your helicopter flight?
Yeah. It wasn't that. I texted him and told him I'll be doing a flyby. Watch for us doing a flyby.
Yep.
As soon as I got in the helicopter, I was talking to the pilot and I said, "You don't mind doing a flyby for me?" And he asked where I was at. I said, "Oh, 1 mile southwest of the Jimmy Carter Airport." And he says, "Oh," he looked up and I said, he said, "It don't seem like it shouldn't be a problem." I said, "Just look for a field with a bunch of campers." And then actually I looked through the windshield. I couldn't see out the side glass at the time, but I could see out the front windshield. And actually I could see the field with all the campers. And I said, "There it is to your 11 o'clock. I was talking to him. They didn't have me strapped down or anything. I had a loose hand. I had my cell phone in my hand. I was trying, but I couldn't see the way that the two doors closed by my head. I was not able to look out the window. I couldn't get up, but I could see. But I told him, "Give me a wave." So he waved. He actually rocked the helicopter once and twice, and then he just took off. But he hovered there for just a minute. And then we went on to that helicopter ride cost me $58,000.
Wow. Well, yeah, he was over by us and told us that you were in good spirits even on the ride. So we were a little bit more relieved hearing that. And I know I was standing with Will and I told Will, I said, "I really enjoy watching you fly that entire week." And up until that point.
Yep. I did. Yeah, I did
never
hear you
liked
say that. And but yeah, I enjoy. It's not like I'm out there to even show off. I don't need any spectators. I do it for myself. But yeah, I was in communicate with him where I was able to tell him that I'm going to have a flyby. I didn't say this is my first. I've flown in helicopters before, but I've actually flown helicopters before. But I just told him I'll be doing a flyby.
That is awesome. How's your comfort level right now? Are you good?
Shit. I just came down the driveway about 20 miles an hour a while ago in the wheelchair.
Was it
No,
self?
No, I'm good. I'm good. I'll stand by and stop talking unless y'all got questions. But I'll stand. I'm
no,
good with sitting down. Melissa just brought me another pillar. I'm gonna probably just add to my pillars. I'm gonna stand up and put a
which you're not
pillar
supposed to be doing.
I'm not supposed to do. Now I got 2 pillars. I'm a little taller now, but I'll stop. I'll let someone else take center stage if you'd like.
Hey, Nick, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I could listen to you talk all night long.
Oh,
Well,
I still have a lot of campfire stories. So
Yeah.
some that are a little bit more embarrassing than others, but I gladly will share them with you at the next fly-in.
Right on. I'm going to take you.
I was going to say at the next fly-in, if there's a campfire, we're all going to be sitting around it listening to Nick's stories because he shared a few with me, and I can tell you right now, the accident wasn't bad when he got to the hospital, and the things around him were bad. And the stories he's going to share with us is going to be the accident wasn't bad. Let's just say so. It looks like Dave Purdens. Looks like Dave Purdens. If when that happens, we will all get to hear Nick's stories that he shares about the wonderful ER that he experience that he had.
Yes.
So
When
all right,
when were
let's
you
go.
discharged, Nick? How long were you actually in the hospital before they let you out?
Exactly 7 days.
Okay.
I was in there on the 13th and I got out on the 20th.
Did you get a sponge bath?
First sponge bath was second day after home. I thought that's all put up for more. I mean, I had $20. I was trying to get no. It was better. In the hospital, I didn't get any sponge baths, but when I got home, I got. But yeah, that isn't anything. That's still not the good stories. But yeah.
Maybe the after show.
Yeah.
So, Nick, any words of advice for anybody I mean, is there anything you could have done differently? I mean, it's just a freak accident. It's just, I mean, there's nothing to look out for, something to be cautious about. It's just, the accident was an accident.
It was an accident. The only thing that I could have done to prevent this, I think, was to let the trimmers out like I've normally done, 1,700 times before. I stopped counting flights a year and a half ago at 1,700 flights. I don't count hours. I used to count actual flights, and then I just stopped. So I probably got over 2,000 flights, and I normally almost every flight, no matter what wing I'm flying, I let the trimmers out. Don't ever fly the wing too slow. Would definitely solve this from ever happening to anybody.
Right.
Ground speed is a friend, just like altitude. Altitude and ground speed is the main thing of this actual accident. It's my own pilot error. It definitely was pilot error. It was not mechanical. I wish I could blame it on somebody else. It was basically pilot error.
Right.
I remember our Mexican dinner night. What was that? Was that Saturday? And somebody was telling me that when you're that close to the ground, you need to have those trimmers all the way out to give that wing a lot of speed, and then you have a lot of flare authority. Nick probably doesn't remember who told me that, but Nick, unfortunately, you left on Wednesday, and you didn't give me a chance to give you something. But Jade and I, we get these little paramotor guys that everybody's hanging from their windshields.
Oh, yeah.
And we would like to get you one. So I'm gonna find Melissa on Facebook. We're gonna get your address. We would like to get you one. We're getting another shipment in from overseas. They're all handmade. And
Wow.
we'll get one to you. I got a couple coming for other pilots here. And so I would like to get you one.
I definitely appreciate that. That's cool looking.
You bet.
Wow.
Put your trimmers out when you put it on your rearview mirror.
That's true. And I do preach that to new pilots about landing, because people tend to want to come in slow to land, and that's why I do preach that. I am guilty of preaching, let your trimmers out, come in, and then you have more brake authority, because you see a lot of new pilots come in and then stumble and fall on their face every time they land, and they can't try to blame it on something else. And I said, well, you let your trimmers out, and then you come in and you got more brakes. But yes, you're 100% right. I was preaching that on Saturday night. Did I drink a margarita or anything that night?
You cut out there. What do you think?
But yes, but that wasn't the problem. Yep. I'll let y'all get to somebody else if y'all want.
Tommy Sutherland just donated and will share. Nick, thank you for sharing your story, and thankful you are recovering. Holy crap. I can't read apparently tonight. Dave Perry says you have such a great heart. Jade, oh, that's the Jade. Never mind. We got John from Slow Days. Well, man, thank God you're doing as well as you are. Tony, kudos to you, Nick, for letting us see this. Get well soon. So, Nick, you got a lot of support. A lot of people. I'm really glad to see you tonight. And I know last week we were going to try this, but you weren't up to par with it. And that's like I told you, I love to hear your story. I'd love for you to share it. And I'm really glad that you're okay and we're able to do this tonight. Any plans to tell this story on any other shows?
That David Wolf, he actually did talk. I did talk to him, and I did say I would do a show with him. He may not be happy that I'm on your show, so it doesn't really. I don't really care. But I could blame it that maybe I was intoxicated on some kind of medicine or something. No, but
real quick question. Did you tell me somebody asked you to come on another show?
Yes, that was David Wolf. Oh, I don't know what PPG.
Hold on. Did you tell me that you have or have not been asked to go on another show? Because you told me you hadn't been asked. That's why you were on here tonight.
Yeah, I was asked that I would, and I even told him probably, I wouldn't have a problem doing it. But again, it's not about, I'm not politically correct any other time either, so I don't care. But
well, Nick, there's a few.
I am politically.
Sorry, go ahead.
Hold on.
Shane.
I'm politically correct, and you told me you hadn't been asked, so that's why you're on tonight. Just in case anybody gets mad at me, I went with the fact that you told me no one had asked you. So if anybody's mad at me for this, I'm sorry. I went with what the information I had, and it is what it is. So, Dave Perry, what do you got?
Oh, I was just going to say he should still do David Wolf's show, because even though there's a lot of folks watching tonight that also watch our Paramotor Nation, there's a lot of folks that I'm sure would love to hear from Nick and hear his story and ask some questions, because there's a lot of folks in the community, I can tell, that are just interested in his welfare and how he's doing, and probably have a lot of questions. Someone that's been flying for 19 years, and Nick, I just finished school on Sunday. So obviously, to me, to see that video and to see and hear you talk, about this after 19 years of experience, number one, it kind of scares the hell out of me. But number two, I've been through a little bit on my own with a motorcycle accident, so it's not too bad. But yeah, I think it's important for everybody to hear that it doesn't really matter what your skill set is. There's always that possibility that a life-changing event can happen in this sport. And you know, to have you here just to give your honest thoughts on what happened. And, you know, that's gold to somebody like me, for sure.
It's not a sport. It's the only thing I disagree.
Okay.
It's a mental affliction.
Yes, it is.
It's a mental illness that we all have.
Yes.
You might not want to admit it yet, but you eventually figure it out.
Hey, Dave,
Can-
do you remember when I asked you if you were sold on the sport after your ride? I know it's not a sport. Do you remember what I said? You said, yeah. Do you remember what I said? I said, welcome to
The sickness.
the sickness.
Mhm.
So I agree, Nick, wholeheartedly.
Mhm.
Hey, Shane. We have
So-
Ken Stamey said Shane is the man and the place for breaking news. That's a plus. Nick Griffith also said Shane got the exclusive interview on Sweeps Week.
With breaking news, I'm shooting from the hip right now.
Ooh, I got it. I got it.
See, earlier, Shane, I was going to task you with coming up with some good hip or pelvis jokes for Nick, because you obviously have a plethora of one-legged jokes for guys like me. So, you know, I didn't want Nick to feel like he was being, you know, overlooked.
Well, with this accident of Nick's, unfortunately, his dream of becoming a professional hula hooper is out. I told him that a couple weeks. What's that, Nick?
I'm still gonna go to the Halloween party too, and we're gonna dance all night like we did last time. No.
Oh, all right. Nick,
geez.
anything else you want to share before we move on to our next guest?
No, sir. I'll be right here. I feel good. I feel okay, comfortable. I'll let you. This is my first one, so I'll sit back.
And feel free, if there's a question you have for our next guest, feel free to ask it, because you're on the panel. So,
Or if you
our
have
next-
any good one-legged jokes, now's the time.
Okay, I got it. Is everybody listening? Now, Dave, please
Up to
don't
it.
take it personally, but what do you call a one-legged hitchhiker? Or what do you tell a one-legged hitchhiker?
I have no idea.
Hop in.
hop in.
Mhm.
God, I knew it.
Wow.
I got
Did
it.
you write that, Shane?
No, but I literally was in my head going, get in, hop in, and I nailed it.
It didn't take long for Nick to fit in.
No.
Yeah, right. Nick fits right in anywhere. Nick could be in church and, well, no, he won't fit in there, but everywhere else he will.
I go to church. I mean, I talk to God all the time. I talk to God that day. I talk to God the day after. I mean, there was a lot of soul seeking. I mean, and I thank God
Right.
every day. There's a lot of things. Like I said, there's a lot of things that are more priority than flying. But I'm never going to get out of the community for sure. I may
Something
never
like-
fly again. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that is, like I said, a lot of soul seeking.
Something like this kind of
Right.
puts life into perspective a little bit more, doesn't it, Nick?
Yes, it does.
Which is why I'm now a paramotor pilot.
Yeah.
And why? Well, after losing my son, that's why I'm a paramotor pilot. I mean, I've always wanted to do it, but I've never had the real push to do it. And after he passed, I had to live, and I didn't feel like I was living. So putting that motor on and getting that wing above my head, guess what? That I've not felt that way since he had passed. And every time I put that motor on, it's life for me. It is a sickness. I left my wing in with four winds and had them inspect my wing when I left Bad Apples. And for 3 weeks, 3 of the longest weeks of my life, was stuck on the ground, and it started making me want to get another wing. So with all 5 wings that Nick has, it's not going to be using anytime soon. I might have to go up there and try out some new wings and make sure, one, they don't, get too wrinkled, and two, they get exercise because I care about the quality and the wings that he has. And I need to find a new wing, a backup wing, if you will, because seriously, when I was grounded for 3 weeks, that was the longest 3 weeks. I did get a lot of stuff done around the house though.
You'd have told me that, I'd have gave you one. I got a couple wings that I could have gave you a wing that you could have took from the bad apples that you could have used. I got a 26 meter that you could have definitely flown, that you could use anytime.
Yeah.
But,
It's all good. All right. Our next guest, Dave Perry, our very newest pilot in the PPG community.
Woot, woot,
Dave
woot.
Perry, how you doing tonight, sir?
Hello, hello. The newest pilot.
I
Wow.
thought you.
I never thought I'd hear
Yes.
those words.
No, but it's true, correct?
Yeah, it is. It's very surreal still.
So,
Yeah.
so what school did you go to?
I went to One Up Adventures in Lake Wales.
You're-
This is where we trained this time. They bounce between Lake Wales and Wauchula as far as Florida goes, but they also go up to Ohio and Michigan, and they have some folks that they partner with, weather permitting. So yeah, I was in Lake Wales.
Who were your instructors?
Instructors were Travis Burns, Kyle Mooney, and Allie.
Now, as quick
Ms. Yancey.
as quick as you can, as quick as you can, which is your favorite instructor?
All of them.
That's slow, by the way. That was really slow.
Hey, you're lagging, pal.
Yeah, it's not my lap.
Check your internet.
All right, so first day of school. What's your expectations? What really happened?
So they actually sent out a syllabus ahead of time, so I kind of knew what the progression was going to be. The first day we were actually going to take a tandem trike flight, but though the weather wasn't great for that, so we actually did that on the second day. But for the most part, your first order of business is to have a tandem flight on a trike. And it's funny because I kind of knew this was coming because I was fortunate enough to get a tandem flight with Kyle at Bad Apples. And he said, just so you know, this is instructional, but I'm not going to have you doing a whole bunch of stuff today. But when you come and see us for training, then it is going to be a little more instructional. You're actually going to have to do something. So what he was referring to is once we get up in the air and he does a few wing overs, then he puts it into oscillation, and you have to basically learn how to pull it out of oscillation. So that was fun. And yeah, but once that is done, then the order of business is obviously dependent on the weather. You do a lot of kiting, a lot of ground school, and you know, the first really 3 days were kiting, and it was hot and humid, and I thought I was in good shape, and learned that I'm not in, or wasn't in, good paramotor shape. And yeah, it was brutal, as they say. Very, very sweaty, lots of clothing that I went through. Yeah, and lots of Advil, Tylenol combos, and fortunately I have one of those cool pulse massage guns. I used that every single day and night, and yeah, so that's kind of how things started out, was just getting command of that wing, which was cool because I had my seed, my 14 meter, a few weeks before school, and I thought, yeah, I'm going to go out and learn how to kite first, and then when I get to school, I'll just kick everybody's ass. And that really wasn't the case, because where I was kiting, the winds weren't too favorable, so I really didn't learn a whole lot from my kiting prior to class. But I can definitely say that I can kite very well now, and to me, that is, once you kind of get it, it's so much more fun. It's not really work. So like, I was just chomping at the bit all day today. I wanted to go out and kite, but our weather down here in South Carolina was not too conducive. We're doing some rain right now, so didn't get any kiting in.
Right.
But yeah, that's the first part of it, is just the ground control and the kiting.
And how well did you do with the towing?
The towing was cool. It was funny, my first tow, the winds picked up. We got a little bit of a crosswind, and you know, as you all know, when you're going to land, you fix your eyes on the horizon to you find something basically to focus on rather than the ground. And the way we had it set up is we had a van that was kind of the return point for the tow. And so when I was up, I thought I was only halfway there, so I wasn't even thinking landing yet. And because the winds changed, I started to track towards the runway. So they decided to just bring me down. And for whatever reason, whether it was through comms or my own idiocy, I wasn't ready to prepare to land yet. I thought I had another 50 yards to go, and all of a sudden, here's the ground. So yeah, I did a butt landing on my very first tow, and the kite went out into the runway. So that was real
Nice.
fun. Yeah, no, it wasn't embarrassing at all.
How many tows did you get in?
That's a good question. Several.
Yeah.
So yeah, we did a couple of
The
days
rest
of
of
that.
them-
So
So so all the rest of your tows went well after that?
yeah, they were
No more
good.
butt landing?
No,
Okay,
so it was
great.
cool.
Get any videos?
Yes,
Hold on, we're getting to that, Will.
not
We're getting to
of
that.
towing.
I'm just asking.
I know. I got it all written down. I'm covered today. I'm not winging it. Get it? Winging it.
Mhm.
Never mind. Moving on. So on the day that you're going to be taxiing, can you tell us how it all started, what that led up to?
Yeah, well, we did on two different occasions, 2 different days. You know, they strapped the motor to my back, and I will say I was very surprised at how heavy it felt to me. I had the Fly Products Rider with a Moster 185, and you know, I'm a pretty good sized guy in pretty good shape, and I was really surprised at the weight of that, but more so at the thrust of that Moster. So we were, you know, doing run-ups with the engine. We were doing lean backs and walking as we're, you know, pulling more and more throttle. And yeah, I was surprised at how physically taxing that part of it was. Of course, the sun and the heat had something to do with that, but I was pretty surprised at the thrust that Moster had, especially just, you know, when you lean against the building with your arm straight out and you bring it up to full power. You know, I've got a little bit of gunnage here, and it was like starting to fold me up like a piece of paper. So I know a lot of that is technique as far as where you're standing. Part of my issue being an amputee is that one of my legs is very strong and very sturdy, and the other one has atrophied. So the muscle and the coordination isn't quite there. So that was interesting, trying to figure out what worked best for me as far as my body position when I did throttle up. And so that was a surprise for sure. It's just that power and figuring out what I need to do so that I don't get face planted or get blown off to the side or something like that. So it was a constant exercise in trying to figure out, okay, I know this is what we're supposed to do now, but now what do I have to do to adjust for my leg to make sure that I can do this properly and not get hurt? So that was always in my mind, was like, okay, I just kind of had to think of it, not as an amputee or not as somebody that is compromised, but you know, if we're being honest, yeah, I'm a little compromised on that right leg. So it was a challenge for sure, just to figure out what I needed to do to get things done. And of course, the other student, which a nice thing was, there were 2 students, 3 instructors. So we were never without good instruction. And The other student was a 18-year-old high school graduate named Ryan, who's 6'4" and muscular and in great shape with legs like a gazelle. So he picked things up so fast. And, you know, it really made me realize that I am 52 and one-legged.
Yeah. Screw
yeah.
screw the one-legged. You're 52.
Yeah, it really.
And then you add in the one leg.
Yeah.
But okay, so they're telling you to taxi, and you're taxiing, and then all of a sudden they just tell you
Yeah.
what?
Well, I kind of had an inkling as to what might happen because the podcast the night before, there was this guy named Shane, and you asked me what was going on tomorrow, and I said, oh, we're going to do some taxiing with the motor on. And the first thing you said is, oh, you're flying. I'm like, you know, pucker factor. I was like, huh? You're like, yeah, most of the time, if everything looks good and the wings up and you're taxiing, they're just going to go full power, and then you're off flying, which is exactly what happened.
Now, did you cry?
Yes. Yes. When I
Yes.
got up
I
in the
did
air, yeah, I cried watching videos of paramotors before I even went to school. Just, I don't know why. It's just, it reaches me on some level. Yeah.
It's passion, dude. It's the love of the sport. It's the love of the idea. And I mean, Dave, I respect you for saying that. I myself cried my very first flight. They're like, take a picture. And Lauren come running up, and I'm like, hold on, let me clear my eyes first. And he's like, why are you crying? I'm like, I'm crying, dude. Leave me alone. Like, it is what it is. I was just so thrilled and so, well, I was scared. I was amazed. I was excited. It's all, every emotion you can imagine all rolled into one happy thought. And it's just an overwhelming thing.
Yeah.
So how many flights did you get in?
As far as full flights, I got 8. And on Thursday, little caveat, on Thursday, towards the end of the week, I had 2 wonderful takeoffs and landings, but my second landing, I strained my quad muscle on my good leg, of all things. And I've never strained a quad muscle before. And so that was devastating to me because we were finished with ground school. So my next several days were nothing but flying, supposed to be. And that day I was picking my wife up at the airport in Orlando because she flew down to see me fly. And I was absolutely devastated because, you know, I've torn through and through calf muscles on both legs several times through playing tennis. I know the feeling when you tear something. I've never torn a quad before. It's a pretty big muscle. The femoris rectus, for those who are embalmers, that's the muscle that I had some micro tears in. So I knew it was going to be a case where I need to take the next day off. I did everything that I knew to do to treat an injured muscle. But yeah, I didn't fly again. My wife did not see me physically fly. And that really, really sucked. I had enough under my belt, you know, that I know what to do. I can fly. That's not an issue. But I wanted more practice. And fortunately, and it's kind of funny because she laughs about it now, she came to watch me fly. I didn't fly, but she did. She got to go up on a tandem because they have the only Cosmos 300 in the United States from Viterazzi. And it's on their trike. And so she was actually the first non-pilot to take a flight on the Viterazzi 300 Cosmos. And she loved it. And yeah, I cried at that too, Shane. When I saw her taking off, it just, couldn't help it.
Hey,
I knew what she was missing.
We have Kent Stamey has an observation. He says, just an observation, but looks like DP remembered his sunscreen, unlike bad apples.
Yes, Kent, thank you. And I did. And the nice thing was they supplied it as well, just in case I forgot. But yeah, I'm what you would say is a fair-skinned, fair-weathered person. So I burn very easily, and yeah, bad apples, I was like a lobster. But
Hey,
thanks,
hey,
Ken.
Dave, can you screen share a flight or two with us?
Yes.
All right.
Here. Talk amongst yourselves.
All right, amongst ourselves.
So I
John
got a
Simons,
question
any
while he's looking up that video. So Dave, you got 8 flights in now?
Yes.
Um,
12 flights. I've got a couple of failed launches and a couple of failed landings, but I think the way that they count them is, start to finish.
successful?
so now are you going back down for more flights?
Yeah, that's my plan. Just because of the leg injury, they said, hey, anytime it works for you and us, just come back down maybe for a weekend, 1 or 2 days, and it'll be free of charge, and I'll just get a few more of those flights under my belt. But I suspect I'll probably fly from home as well before I even go back down there.
Okay, and the reason that your wife got to fly and you didn't is she's better looking. I don't want to say it to be mean, but that's why she got to fly. So now,
Thanks for not saying it.
Do you have gear?
I have gear on the way. They are now a distributor for Fly Products.
Okay.
So I'm getting the Fly Products rider, and my wing is coming from France right now. It's going to be an Ozone Roaster 326, and that's supposed to be in on August 2nd. So in the meantime, I have my Bruce Goldsmith seed that I will be kiting the hell out of until that time comes. And then, yeah, I'll be geared up early August.
Are you going to Moonshiners?
That is the plan. I don't know if I'm going to fly, but I am going.
Good deal.
Okay, so let me know if you all.
So
can
once
see
you've
this.
actually got some training, Dave, once you actually got training, did you find going back to that 14-meter seed a little easier to
Oh,
use?
yeah. Oh, it was awesome. Yeah. Yeah, I was so happy because I
How
learned
can we?
properly how to kite, and
Right.
yeah, it was awesome.
How can you prove this is you?
You can take a look at that right leg here, and I am not with Photoshop at my convenience, so that is a real prosthetic. So is it full screen for y'all?
Yes.
All right.
You
so
optimized it.
Yep, and you'll hear Kyle Mooney in my ear doing the comms, and here we go. No, you don't hear Kyle. And that's it. Did that show?
We saw it. We didn't get any audio. Was that your first
Yeah.
flight?
Yes.
And
was.
what was going
Oh.
through your mind when you were 30 feet in the air?
Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. I did it.
Yeah, it's a pretty good feeling.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Can you hit play it again?
Play it again, Sam? Yeah.
Play it again, Sam.
Let's see here. I don't know why the audio is not coming through.
Posture looks great.
That was actually that was the toughest thing to get through, was because once you probably don't know, but after I lost my leg in the accident, it was a full year and a half before I walked. And so using a walker and then crutches, I tended to favor that leg. So a lot of times when I would take off or even kite, I would turn my body to let my left leg do more of the work. So we kind of had to get through myself relying on that favoritism. And because obviously we want to be totally parallel to our wing and have our arms out nice and wide. And I had some trouble rewiring my brain to just stay straight and move forward and not try to favor that. And let's see if I can find
it. I mean, that's a very good launch. I mean, I
wish I could get.
I mean, with even trying to critique it, it just. I mean, it looks good. I think you could have maybe taken an extra step or something.
Yeah.
Just.
Yeah, well, you'll
but,
laugh about this. My call sign. So it went up. They give everybody a call sign, and after the towing, once I would run and get in the air, I would lift my feet up. Well, because my prosthetic leg is so much lighter than my sound leg, it would go like this. And when I landed for the first time, Allie was down at the van and she was like, "Hey, that was great." And I said, "Yeah, I look like a damn rocket when I take off, like I'm doing a high leg kick." So my call sign is Rocket.
Nice.
Yeah.
Gave yourself a nickname, didn't you?
Yeah, I didn't mean to, but apparently I did. So let me find my first. You want to see one of my takeoff fails?
Whatever you're comfortable with showing.
I'll show you. We'll do
I'm super glad that you're sharing this because, I mean, first of all, for anybody that's not a pilot that wants to become a pilot, seeing you do it, I mean, it's amazing. You've got an extra, what do you call it? Compromised, or what would you say? It's not a handicap. What do you call it? It's
I'm handy capable.
No, I know.
No.
But you said it earlier, and it really kind of hit home with me. I was like, damn, that makes sense.
Yeah,
But now I
probably
can't
compromised.
Yeah, you're compromised.
So here's,
but yet,
can you all see that?
yes.
Okay, so here is my landing. And this is a 30-meter Mojo Power 2 that they had me on.
I had Ozone 30 meter. I don't remember what brand or what model it was, but and there's that young guy carrying around that paramotor like it's nothing.
Atom 80. He's on the Atom 80. He only weighs 185 pounds. Boop, 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 boop.
You know what, dude? No. Hey, listen, that is a common mistake. Okay, that even as a new pilot, that is I mean, for an experienced pilot, that's just a common mistake. But
which one,
dude? No, the setting the wing down thing. I mean, if you would have taken another 3-4 steps forward, it would have been perfect. But you stopped early, which is not a big deal.
They kept saying, "You got to keep running." I'm always so just damn happy I'm on the ground with 2 feet that I'm like, "Hey!" And then I'm like, "No, keep running." Yeah, I did that all the time.
Yeah, I wouldn't call that a fail.
No, it's definitely
No,
not.
No,
hey,
me neither. Not at all.
I didn't eat shit, so I'm happy with it.
Yeah, there you go. You didn't break any equipment and you didn't lose a leg, so everything's good.
Exactly. I didn't even lose the leg that I lost. So,
Dave, tell me about that prosthetic you have there. I mean, how do you make sure that it's going to stay attached? And
so this black part is an outer sleeve, and basically that's kind of like an extra additive protection. The way that I fit down into the socket is by what's called suction. That's the type of suspension that I have. And so I put that outer sleeve on over the top just to make sure there's like an extra bit of suction that keeps me intact with that socket.
Right.
So that's, because at Bad Apples, I did not have that. And when I went up for that trike ride with Kyle. He said, you know, once we get up, just go ahead and let your legs do what they want to do. And I kept those legs right up on those foot pegs because I was afraid that, because sometimes that suction can release a little bit and it can come off, and I didn't want to take that chance. So once you have that outer sleeve on, that's just a double suction basically. So yeah, you could grab me by the foot and drag me around the field with that thing and it wouldn't come off.
Right.
Don't try
No,
it.
I was just kind of curious. No. I was just curious. Just for those who aren't able to see the video or whatever, how or even those who are seeing the video, how do you make sure that doesn't lose suction and fall off?
Yeah.
But if I see in the news that a South Carolina man loses a leg and hits somebody in the head with it, I'm already going to know who it is. I'm not even going to keep reading.
You're going to be the one that gets hit in the head with it, so don't worry about it.
Maybe. It would be an honor.
So, yeah,
So
that was,
overall, how satisfied would you say you are with your skill level and your training?
very. To think that I had to sit out basically Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, my last 3 days of training, where all I would have to do is just fly morning and evening. The weather wasn't great, so we did miss a couple evenings anyway. But yeah, even with that being said, I'm so ready to go to go fly. I think their training was just, they covered everything as far as I know, and I had and have confidence in flying. And yeah, a few more flights under my belt, obviously I would be further along than where I am right now. But you know, I also look at that as I'll get there in short order as soon as I get my gear.
Well, let's talk about the happiest time for your wife and my wife when they got to meet up again. Denise
Yeah.
comes riding up on her little electric scooter, and she's like, "I'm not sure what I'm doing." Apparently, she's on an electric scooter, and it was her first time or second.
Yeah, well,
whatever.
we had a scooter in the hangar, and you know, if someone needed to take a pee break or something, you just grab the scooter and go down to the FBO and come on back. Well, you know, once she found out that Krista was down there with you and you texted me, I was like, she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna walk down there." I'm like, "Dude, that's longer than what it looks like. Take the scooter." And then I thought, oh my God, what am I doing? I'm sending my wife to her doom. But no, she did great.
Yeah, right. Yes. I didn't know how to get over to where you guys were at. And I was just like, you know, I had my buddy and his wife with me, and they kind of wanted to kind of go since I wasn't flying. And I was just like, oh, what do I do? So we just, you know, she came over just as we were getting ready to leave, and they spent a few minutes together, and I was like, all right, we got to go because everybody's getting restless over here. So we ended up going back to camp and hanging out and doing whatever. I think we went and got in trouble a lot, apparently, this go around. Apparently the new.
Well, you don't remember?
We never. No, we never. I'm telling you this right now. We never get in trouble when we go camping. No one ever has to come tell us to be quiet. No one ever has to say, hey, you can't do this, can't do that. This new park manager. So we've stayed at this campsite many times, and I pull into the campsite that we were at before, talking about where we had taken off, or where two of the pilots have taken off before. I was too scared because it was too sketchy for me. And they're like, hey, let's go check out the bar that they got, because this other couple that we were with haven't been to this campsite before. So instead of turning around, I went through 6 feet of grass, and here comes the little yellow light on the golf cart, and the guy's like, hey, you're not supposed to be on the grass. I was like, I apologize, sir. I've stayed at that campsite before, and that's literally how I got my golf cart in and out of my trailer, is through the grass. I apologize, won't happen again. For some reason, I don't know why, this guy watched us every day, all day long in his golf cart. Every time I turned around, I could see him following behind us. As soon as I noticed him, he'd turn off and then he'd show back up. He had it out for us. They have a pool there, and registered guests and residents are allowed to use the pool. Well, I'm renting a campsite. I'm a guest, or I'm registered guest. We get in the pool. It wasn't 4 minutes. This dude comes through the gate. Where's your guys' wristbands? I'm like, what wristbands, dude? I've never heard of no wristbands. He goes, you're supposed to get them when you check in. I said, the lady that's 2 campsites from me works for you guys, and she said I didn't need to go in because, one, I've been here many times before, and she never said nothing about wristbands. Everybody else that came in, a dozen or so people that came in after he left, who was sitting across the parking lot waiting for us to leave, saw all these people come in with no wristbands. Didn't say nothing to them, just us. I was like, dude, what is up with this? We go down and park. Did I?
I'm glad he got my message.
Oh yeah, dude. We went down to the fish camp. Yeah, we went down to the fish camp, turned around, there he is sitting there acting like he's picking up trash and stuff. We just seen you a half mile away. Now you're picking up trash 50 feet from us. I was like, then they sent me an email for a survey. I haven't filled it out yet, but I'm gonna rip them. I'm just gonna let them know. Now there was another security guard. There's actually 2 other security guards there. Both awesome. Came and hung out with us. They got off work, came back and hung out with us, which is awesome. And this guy just literally had it out for us. I don't know why. We weren't rude. I will tell you if I was a jerk about it or whatever. And I wasn't. I was perfectly like, oh, my bad. That is the rule. I see the sign. I messed up. Let's move on. But yeah, apparently that wasn't the case. So, Will Fly, any questions on Sean Simons, Eric, Jade, anybody? Who else is in here? I didn't even look.
I have a question. So your wife took a Canadian flight. When are you going to, when is she going to be taking her lessons to fly with you?
That's a good question. I don't think she's quite there yet. I think she's very, she'll be very happy to go fly with me on a trike down the road. But I don't think she is going to be a pilot, at least not as of right now. I would love to change that. But as you know, that's going to be up to her. And but she had a blast up there, and I might have a video to share.
Real quick, I got a comment from Kobe Cox who says, at DP, is your wife around? We want to see her more than you.
Right.
I forget you can see the same chat as me.
Did you see my response?
I like the response that DP sent.
Thank you. Thank you.
I see it. Real quick for everyone on YouTube, I literally just have the big screen for Zoom up. I'm not reading the chat. I'm paying close attention to both of our guests tonight, and I apologize if I didn't call anybody's names out or what have you. I'm strictly not. So we are hanging out tonight, but I'm putting more of an effort into talking with our guests because I want to make sure that I give them a fair interview tonight. So this is really hard. So
and all the questions that are in the chat, I have been posting in our private messaging, and so all the questions, can be getting answered.
So far, Jim, I have no jokes for tonight. I am trying to be serious. I know this is hard for everyone to believe, but yes, I am. I'm all about the interviews tonight. Both of these guys, I consider friends. I've met them several times. Actually spent quite a lot of money to go hang out with DP and watch him fly, and then he pulls this dead leg thing. Boom, boom, boom.
Jeez, yeah. my bad good leg.
Yeah.
I can't
all right.
believe that.
Did you say you have a video of her?
Yeah. Did you want to see a video of Denise taking off? It's pretty funny.
Which is unfortunate.
As soon as they start, she's with Travis Burns, and he starts the the motor up, and it was funny because they were going to take somebody on a tandem, that day. Plus they had the Cosmos, but whoever it was canceled. So he comes over to me and he said, "Hey, do you think Denise would want to go up?" And I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Let me ask her." So I asked her. She's like, "Oh yeah." She was worried about with the recent double mastectomy that the harness would not be good for her chest. But I said it's not going to be an issue. It's loose. There's no cross strap to tighten down, so you're going to be good to go. So she was like, "Yeah." And so she got in, we got her all set up, and then like as soon as he started the motor up, it was like 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just so funny. Yeah, because she was like, "Oh my God, I didn't know it was gonna go that quick," and she was like, "Holy crap, I'm flying." So let me see.
Like it's at home in bed. What?
Huh? Come on now, dude. All right, hang on. And here we go. You see it?
Oh yeah. Look at her face. She's like, what do you?
Yeah.
I'm not
She's
sure about this. Look
white
at.
knuckling it right now, but
Yeah, she.
I think Travis is praying, and Kyle is saying, "I don't know. Good luck, lady." All right, here we go.
Yeah, I think he's been drinking.
So how do I get the sound on this? I could do that earlier. Sean Simons, what am I doing wrong? Do I have to mute myself on Zoom to have this come through?
No, when you shared it, did you check both the boxes for both sound and optimize the video?
I don't know.
All right, close that out. Close or stop your screen share, then go back into screen share, and then before you hit the video, it should have the 2 boxes at the bottom.
Ah, hey, look at there. Should I
One
optimize
says
it as well?
Yes.
Okay.
That way it won't like be jumping.
Right.
It'll be.
I had other goals that are already passed beyond. It may not be something to talk about on here, but I had other goals to get to, and I've just overcome them. But yes, to walk is the first thing, and then that's the best thing. But I mean, this was definitely a life changing. I mean, some people could say, "Oh, I'm out and I'm done with this," but you know,
Whose was that?
Yeah, that was weird.
It's DPs, I believe.
You probably have another tab open that you probably need to close or mute.
Oh, good Lord. All right, I'm going to stop. Yeah, I see Nick talking there. All right, hang on a minute.
Turn that, close that window out, because that's what's coming through is that audio.
I feel like Shane right now.
You feel great
okay.
then.
So the YouTube video somehow got unmuted. All right, here we go.
You're really killing this. Just killing it, you know that.
Shut your mouth.
No pressure, no pressure.
Yeah, really. All right, pause.
Come on, if I could figure it out.
Jade?
Oh, she's getting on you. If Jade's getting on you, you
I
know it's
love
going
you.
downhill.
But I'm gonna All right, here we go. Optimize and
That's great. Okay.
Up there at all.
Go.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a safety thing to keep them snug.
Look at her face. She's like,
just said, "Oh my
I
God,
may
I
have
can't
messed
believe I'm
up."
gonna go fly."
Look at that Cosmo right there. What's up?
Sweet. That thing is so smooth.
Look at her face. We gone.
That's so cool.
Was that a sunrise or a sunset?
On her first
Sunrise.
Sunset.
Nope,
Oh, yeah,
sunrise.
sunrise. Yeah, I showed up just after she landed, and she just came up to me all teeth and wouldn't stop smiling. I thought it was because I was there, but then I realized
Not at all.
she flew and had nothing to do with me.
Nothing to do with you. Absolutely
Oh,
nothing.
funny.
She actually said, I can't believe I was smiling when Shane walked up. I was just so happy from that flight.
I know.
They
I
had
walked
that
up and I was
wing- Go ahead.
No, I was just making. Go ahead, Eric. Go.
They had that wing all laid out, and they started that motor and just gave her the berries right then and there, so she couldn't change her mind.
Yeah, no, it was awesome.
Super happy for her. I told her, I was like, my wife, she will only let one person take her up, and that's Craig Taylor. But she doesn't really want to fly. She wants to do she wouldn't mind doing a tandem, but it's not, she knows that when it comes to making split-second decisions that us as pilots have to make, she wouldn't do good with that stress level. So, I mean, if I ended up getting a tandem certification and a trike and started flying, she still wouldn't fly with me because she has a rule. We can't do both of us can't do something dangerous in the same spot. Like, we can't ride motorcycles anymore. She won't do the tandem with me, and I'm surprised she rides in the car with me now because we're in the same spot. She tries to keep it separate now.
If I ever get my tandem exemption, she'll party in the sky with me.
You are her hero, Jade.
Yes, actually,
Absolutely.
she talks about Jade. She talks about Jade quite a bit, and your wife
Nice.
DP as well.
I miss both those ladies.
So you all saw my
We
war
wouldn't go-
wounds, right?
What?
The what?
My war wounds.
Let's see.
Oh,
Badge.
yeah.
What is it?
Yeah, baby, it's getting some green in there.
Oh, it's pretty.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, not so much on this side, just a little bit. But
No, that's boring.
yeah, it was
Oh,
That's
funny
because you were
because
over.
Wyatt was on last evening's podcast, and I showed those in the after show, and that kid is so grown up for his age. You know what he said when he saw those? He said, "Hey, you know what, DP? That just means you worked really hard to get where you are." I'm like,
Yeah.
what is this? My dad talking to me here? This kid's like 11 years old.
I was
Like,
chatting with Wyatt's mom during that show, and towards the end when they were in the after show, she said, "Yep, he is doing this all on his own, and we're listening from 2 rooms down, but they had to drive to his grandma's house so they could get better reception for internet so they could do that show, and they were an hour away, and they were still waiting to go home after that after show yet too."
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I wanted to tell him to get to bed, but he was like, whatever you need me for, I'll be here.
She said they
right.
just do everything just to, to let their kids smile, make them happy. So I told them they've done right by both their kids.
They're doing a bang up job for sure. He
Exactly.
They are.
He's an impressive young man.
Again, I will say this, as a parent, we didn't realize growing up or having our kids growing up how much of a helicopter parents we were. There is no way. My wife and I have sat down and talked about having our kid at that age being flying and stuff. Neither one of us would let either one of our kids do it. I just couldn't imagine. I mean, great for them. I'm super happy that they're open enough to let that happen. Me, I could not. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't imagine my kid being 7,000 feet in a seat with a feet hanging on a piece of string and a sheet above their head. No, I couldn't imagine. I cried when both my kids left in the car for the first time by themselves. came in, I was like, holy crap. I was looking out the window, watching them on GPS, making sure that they got to the destination they were. Every time they were leaving to go to work, they had to call me when they got to work. They had to call me when they're getting ready to leave work. They had to walk in the door and wake me up and say, hey, I'm coming home, or I'm home. Oh, dude, I never realized what kind of helicopter parents we were.
All right, I'm going to screen share
my dog.
one more thing with y'all, if that's okay.
Yes, sir.
After I started feeling a little better about things, I asked Kyle if I could take his wing up, his 14-meter free ride. So I just wanted to kind of show you my my flight on that, and tell me what you think. This is me. Wow.
I got to see you good there for 8 flights.
Yeah, just a little something.
You
Just wanted to share that with
not bad for a beginner, but you know.
Yeah, I could have done a little more with the brakes there, I'm sure, but you know, just wanted to share that with y'all.
Why does that wing start to curl up at the same point every time? Did you all notice that?
He said 8 G's, 0 G's, 8 G's, 0 G's, 8. I think that's why.
Man, that is insane, dude.
Yeah, I thought I'd try it. I'm just glad it worked out okay.
Wow, man, dude, that's I if I'm doing that, understand, go ahead and call 911 because I'm out of control.
I'm passed out from screaming.
Yeah. I'm passed out from the very first 8G pull, and the rest are just, I don't know, centrifugal force or something. But yeah, there's no way. I said to him, I said, well, it's a good thing that you're 125 pounds because you can stand those 8Gs.
Yeah, right. How do you figure out, is there a device that you can use to figure out the G's while you're flying? No, seriously, I don't know.
I don't know.
Is there an actual G measurer device that you can carry with you?
You're not going to say
I know when I do. No, or G string. But no, I'm kind of curious because when we go into when I do like spiral downs, I mean, I literally feel like my face is pulling down, and
it still is.
I feel like I'm getting smaller in my seat. I'm just kind of curious of how many G's I'm pulling. Is it 1 or 2? Because it's not very much, but it's enough for me.
Yeah, I'm good for about a cheek and a half, and then I'll pass out, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm now into the chat now, just so you know. Mark Elroy from Paralife PPG says no thank you. This guy says no thank you to Infinite tumbles? But
Infinity tumble.
But will cage drag and tip drag on takeoff without even trying. I mean, really?
I've got some other cool videos of him just taking off and doing wing tip drags, and it was fun filming him too while we were out there.
Jim CR120 says that Fly Sky High has the G things. Let me go into my flight book and see if there's a G.
Excuse me.
I gotta just say, Jim CR120 is such a great dude. Man, it was so nice to meet him down there. And he came to my aid right away after I had that quad pull. He brought me a tube of ointment to rub on the muscle to heat it up good. So I seriously appreciate that, Jim. Great guy. Great guy.
He is way more personable and nice than he is in the chat. Let's just say that. Face to face, really nice guy.
He didn't have a bunch of questions.
Actually, I think Thursday, I believe he may be coming over here. We're going to end up doing a beach flight on Thursday afternoon, I do believe, if weather permits.
Yeah, he came.
I don't.
He came over, and you came up, and Ripa was there as well. I tell you what, man, that meant so much to me. Can't even. Oh, here we go. I get a little verklempt.
I do not see a G's. How many G's you pull on? Is it called something? What else would it be called? I've got duration, max altitude, height difference, height above takeoff, max ground speed, horizontal distance, max distance from takeoff, distance covered, max lift, max sink, height gained, total height gain. I don't see anything about G's. Maybe you can screenshot that for me, CR120, and show me where that's at. Because I'm kind of curious. I have on one of my flights, I guess I was doing spiral downs, and it says I was doing 112 miles an hour ground speed. I'm like, yeah, I don't think so. That's probably not true.
If I need a meter to figure out how many G's I'm doing, I am doing something wrong.
Your wife's gonna kill you.
That's the funniest thing yet. Oh man.
Hey, and
So,
also
yeah.
let's congratulate Nick. I don't know if he's on here at all, but from, how do you say his last name?
Brian?
Perrine.
Oh yeah.
He
Brian, yeah.
also did his first flight last night. So
He did.
congratulations
Yes.
to him
He's
also.
on that Rebel. He's on that Rebel with the Adam 80. And yeah, he took off and he landed on both feet. So awesome for him. Mr.
On second
Self-taught.
page.
Yeah, I
Hold
don't think
on,
he's in.
second page.
Hey, Dave,
Yes.
did that Nick that did his flight, did he purchase his gear from Mark George?
Yes, Pariswag.
Pariswag?
Yep. Mark
Yeah.
and Chris.
Okay. So that's who that was. I was trying to put a name with a face, and I saw him
Yep.
picking up his gear. I think, Sean, you did a video on him.
Yes, we did a video of him opening up his paramotor.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Cool.
It was
But
at Bad Apples,
I didn't
wasn't
get it to where he actually put it together. So
Yeah, he actually let me put it on shortly after we arrived on that Saturday. Yeah, he said, you want to try it on? And I thought, yeah. And again, I was surprised at the weight, which it's so different with, if you're not used to putting a harness on with a paramotor on your back, it's a totally different feel. And I will say that each day it got less and less, like by the last time I was wearing it, it was like, yeah, no big deal. But the first day I was like, holy shit, this is going to be rough. But each day it got a little bit better. I got a little more sore, but Will Fly just split in two.
Yeah, Nick's in the chat.
Okay, cool. Hey, there he is.
Sorry, now I'm all trying to figure out the G's on this thing. I want to find the Nick LaBoeuf said goodnight to everybody. Thank you. He's his butt was sore. I guess spending too much time with me. But yeah, he's one hell of a dude. Like I said, if you guys can help out in any way with the with this GoFundMe, he did have this accident. He does not have health insurance, and definitely has a crap load of medical bills. So if there's any chance I mean, just $1. I mean, if you can do more, great. If $1 is all you can do, it all helps. Trust me, it all helps. So, anyways, I am I will have to try to figure out the sky fly high. Sean, if you could take over for a second, I'll be right back. I think there's someone at the door.
All right. Well, definitely go get that. Congratulations, DP. That's really cool. I've really been enjoying watching your progress. And you are actually ppgfootlaunch.com. So if anybody wants to check out your videos, go to ppgfootlaunch.com, which is a pretty unique.com. How'd you come up with that one?
I have this friend of mine that is really good at putting together .com sites, and he thought, you've got 1 foot technically, so why not PPG foot launch, because it's pretty literal. And I'm like, that's perfect.
Really?
So,
But a bunch of us in the chat, we came up with a new nickname for you. Rocket Man.
Yes, or Rocket Man. Yeah,
I like that.
That's good. I do too. I like that very much. Yeah. So thanks, Sean.
You can just say one of your afterburners fell off.
Yeah, they were telling me at the next fly-in I should take one of my spare legs and like tuck my one leg up under my butt and then throw out my spare leg and just see what people do about that, and then pretend.
You got to
like
put
I
a
have to
parachute
land.
on it though.
Wonder if that little rear view mirror paraglider dude would keep my leg in the air. Probably not.
That'd be really cool. Hey, real quick, I know that we're getting pretty close to 9 o'clock over here at my time. Do you have a way of showing us how your leg attaches to you so it doesn't fall off? Do you have that like next to you, or that, I mean, with that sleeve and all that stuff, I don't quite comprehend.
Yeah, give me a second.
Sure.
I'm going to just look down.
You're just going to look down?
Oh. All right.
What time do you need to get out of here, Shane? It's 9 o'clock my time. How much time do you have left over here?
I try to end it at 10 so that people can get, rested up and watch other paramotor videos. But everything's good right now. My wife hasn't knocked on the door. Usually that means not get her a beer. It means it's time for family time. So she hasn't knocked on the door.
Well, that's good. Yeah, mine hasn't knocked on the door either. So I think we're good for at least another 5 minutes or so. Hopefully it's okay if DP shows us this, because like I said, I'm just kind of, curious. I mean, it's interesting. I think I have an idea. I definitely give them all sorts of props, paramotor props, of course, to be able to do such a thing. I mean, that I cannot feel that there's anything that I cannot do when I see people like DP get up in the air. It just very inspirational to me.
Yeah, I literally I spent quite a bit of money to go over just to see DP fly, which he didn't, but it's still, I got to meet the guy again. He's truly an inspiration to myself. Even my wife is a huge fan of his wife, with all her struggles that she's gone through. And, honestly, just an all around great guy. And I'd do it all again next weekend if he said he was coming back. So DP, when you're ready to come back, let me know. I will even bring the camper over and you can stay in. We'll boondock out front of Aviators, and I'll bring the camper and you'll have a place to stay. You don't have to get an Airbnb and do all that other good stuff.
That sounds awesome. But here's the question though. Can I do a number 2 in your bathroom if I need to?
No. You need to go to the FBO to do number 20.
All right.
Oh, don't make me have to pump that into the window of your car when you're not looking.
Grody to the max.
All right. I'm going to see if I can do this so y'all can see.
Well, your video's not on, by the way, so
Yeah, I
we
know.
can't see anything. Okay.
I know. I was wanting to set things up.
Oh,
So
okay.
this is prosthetics 101. All right, so this is the liner that goes over my stump, obviously. And this little dude right here has a bunch of fins on it. I don't know if you can see those. So I put this on my socket, and what these fins do is when I slide down into the socket, they flatten out. And I have a valve at the bottom of my socket right here that is a one-way valve. So when I push my leg down into this dude, air expels one way, and that creates a seal, and air can't come back in. So normally that's just your normal suction suspension. So that's what keeps me in here. That air expels out, no air can get back in, and it's tight. And so I put my leg in like this and push down, and this little button I push and it expels the air out. And so generally that's perfect for just everyday wearing, but I wanted to be sure that I wasn't going to lose this leg while I was up in the air. So what you can do is take one of these big liners and you fit it on the outside of your socket. So I'm in my socket right now with that seal that I just showed you. And now I can roll this guy up and over. So that's like one more area of protection that doesn't let any more air down inside of here. So this thing is super secure now with this outside liner over the top. It creates a seal where my leg goes in. So just in case the one inside fails, I've got an extra bit of suction on the outside that keeps me in this puppy. Does that help?
How long did it take to build up, I guess not a callus, but where they, amputated and covered up that skin area? Because I've cut off my knuckle down to the bone, and I had extensive therapy just to bend my knuckle again and get feeling back. And I can't imagine on a
there's no
bat.
yeah, so when my crash was really extensive. So for example, when I sat up on the pavement, my leg from where this is was off at a right angle, and my toe was pointed down and sitting on the pavement when I sat up. And again, I was saying to Nick earlier, thank God for shock, because I didn't feel anything and I didn't get knocked out. So I knew as an embalmer that all my arteries were severed down here. So I flipped my foot over so my heel was down, and then I flopped my leg over this way so it was straight, and then I just clamped down below my knee as hard as I could with my hands to try to cut off the blood that was spewing out from those arteries. And oddly enough, Jade, when you go through something like this, you really don't get a callus. I'm gonna, for those who are weak of stomach, it's not too bad, but basically this is it. So there's a lot of scarring. I had to go through multiple surgeries, skin grafting, because things just did not, because of the trauma that I experienced, it was really hard for this to heal. That's why it took 1.5 years for me to be able to walk, because there was just all kinds of crap that came along with it. But this is like soft as a baby's butt. It's really, really soft. And the reason that it is because these liners that I put on are, number one, very expensive, but they're very, very good for your skin. And that's pretty much how, you keep your skin in good shape. So I just roll this little sucker on like this. And then I take the little seal and slide that on, and that's what's going to keep me in this guy. And you just basically step down in it, and it shoots all that air out, and it creates the seal as you're pushing the air out. And that's it. And I can go all day without having to take it off or change it or do anything to it. And yeah, it works out pretty well.
Dave, I have a question.
Yeah.
Has your wife ever got so mad at you that she stole your leg?
No, not yet.
You're not going nowhere.
You're grounded, pal. Yeah, she might do that sometime, but no. Yeah, that's literally being grounded, isn't it?
Exactly.
I'd have to like,
Oh,
yeah, I'd have to like crawl upstairs and get my walker again, which I feel bad for Nick.
oh,
I will say one thing, if I know Nick's gone now, but one thing a walker does for you, depending on how long you have to use them, it really builds up your upper body. And because all you do is hop. And yeah, it sucks, but you know.
Well, I wish I could get one
I'm
of those.
alive.
I wish I could get one of those inner sleeves for like wearing my knee brace. I hate wearing my knee brace because it just rubs and
Yep.
and I'm supposed to be wearing one for any major activity because my knee is gonna just go left, right, or back or forward.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. So you could, I mean, you'd probably have to like cut the end off so that you could just roll it up and have it on your leg. Because
Right.
obviously mine has an end on it. But yeah, you could probably do that. And they're good for your skin. You know, I've got all kinds of crap I have to like rub on it and on the scarring and stuff just to make sure everything stays cool. But yeah, for the most part, you know, unless people aren't taking care of their limbs, you know, you can keep your skin in really good shape, but it's work. It's daily preparation, you know. It's weird because it takes more time to do anything, like just to get up and take a pee in the middle and I'd have to put a liner on and put my other leg on, and you know, it's a pain in the ass, but or a pain in the leg, but
hey, Dave,
yeah.
your microphone or something's getting muffled. I don't. Every now and then it sounds like it's getting covered up or something.
Okay. Can you hear me good?
Yeah, we can hear you good, but every now and then, like when you were looking down or something, it was muffled. I don't know.
Okay.
If that could be. So Jade, do you wear your knee brace to bed at all? Hello,
No.
Jade.
no.
I heard you're supposed to wear that during rigorous
Stop
activities.
yourself. Stop yourself.
Are you saying it takes longer to put the brace on than the rigorous activity? Alrighty.
There's a couple of questions in the chat. Nick wants to know, is there any phantom anytime? So is that phantom pains?
Yeah, phantom limb pain is very real. Yeah, it still every once in a while feels like my foot is down there. Like sometimes I'll be just sitting watching TV with Denise and I'll, you know, groan and lean over and grab nothing that's not there. And she'll be like, well, what was it that time? And I was like, yeah, it was my big toe. It's just out of nowhere. It's the nerve activity. And, you know, when you have your nerves severed, your nerves are constantly looking for electrical connections. So when they're severed, they still send out little tendrils trying to find the other half that's missing. And when they don't find that, they roll up into a little ball on the end of the nerve. It's called a neuroma. And those hurt like a mofo. And they give you no heads up as to when they're going to nail you. And I had a lot of issues with neuromas forming. And so I had to go and get some surgery done where they basically cut the neuroma off and then they tie in your nerve to the muscle tissue, which confuses the nerve into thinking, because it now has an electrical component that it's attached to, it doesn't think it's severed anymore. So it doesn't try to form a neuroma, and that calms everything down. So I've actually had a couple of surgeries that have taken care of that sort of an instance. So yeah, phantom limb pain is very real. It feels like I have my foot right now. I feel like I'm wiggling my toes, and you know, I'll be 5 years out on June 12th, actually, is when I lost my leg.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, coming up on the good old anniversary.
Yeah, we have another question from Jason Russell Smith. DP, do you ever have different legs for different activities?
Yep. Give me 1 second.
Okay. What? I didn't even want you to go get them. You could have just said yes. What? Oh yeah, I know. So a lot of you guys may or may not know. We're talking about nerve endings and stuff. My wife got burned. She actually kind of fell into a fire and burnt her leg pretty bad. And she every now and then will just reach down out of nowhere and in pain because of the nerve endings being that she had burned on her leg so bad. So yeah, my wife completely understands what you're going through, Dave.
Yeah, nerve pain sucks. There's no way to know it's coming. It just nails you out of nowhere. So yeah, being a funeral director and meeting with families and trying to plan a funeral, and all of a sudden I double over and grunt in pain, that got a little bit old pretty quick. So that's why I had some surgeries to take care of that. But yeah, Jason, I call this my P leg. This is the one I put on in the middle of the night when I have to go. It's not a suction one like the one I'm wearing now. It's actually the socket that I wear. The liner has a straight pin, and it goes in and clicks into place. And basically the clicking, that's what holds me in. And then I also have a blade for, this is a foot, not a leg. But this is what I use to play tennis in and when I go jogging. This is actually my most comfortable foot because this has a lot of give and a lot of return energy. So when you run, it's not as hard as like the one I'm wearing right now, the one I wore for, I almost took this to wear for PPG just to see if this would be something that would be better for me to use in the field. But I got a little worried. It's got its own tread on the bottom, but what I didn't want is for like mud and stuff to get caught in here because I think this might be a hindrance if it gets clogged up with grass and shit. So I decided not to use this one when I learned how to fly and just use my regular foot with a shoe on it, which worked out really well. Good question. No. Didn't mean this to turn into an amputee show, that's for sure.
No, it's fine. It's all information. We're all hanging out, having a good time, talking
Yes,
about.
and thank you for telling us about it. And I mean,
Yeah,
it's very interesting.
Absolutely.
Yes, thank you, David. That was,
Thanks for the questions. It means a lot.